heard from Dr. Shauna Johnston, who's had to leave, and Dr. Chris Frank, who I think has just also left, but they're not voting partners here. And last from Dr. Alina Marin. And as I said, the topics are all very difficult, and we thank them very much for giving us as much information as they can to make our decisions easier. Thank you very much. And to make it even easier, Dr. Roger Deeley is here with us. He's going to walk us through the process, our process, and the hospital process a bit too. Dr. Deeley is currently a professor in the departments of pathology and molecular medicine, biochemistry, and oncology at Queen's, and in January 2007 was appointed as the Vice Dean of Research in the Faculty of Health Sciences and VP of Health Science Research at Kingston General Hospital. That's enough, and that's enough. Yeah. But I do want to say that Dr. Deeley has been very supportive of the Women's Giving Circle since its inception. He's been very, very helpful in helping us figure out what we could do and how we could really make an impact on the research community in Kingston. So for that, we thank him very much, and I invite him up to speak to us and help us more.
First of all, I'd like to thank the speakers. I think they did a remarkable job in a very brief period of time, summarizing very broad areas. So I don't envy you having to make a decision across the three areas with respect to which area the Women's Giving Circle is going to support this year. There's always next year for the other two areas. Let me say that activities like this and generosity like this is becoming increasingly important. It's getting harder and harder to get research funding. If you go outside for external support, you really need preliminary evidence to back up your research proposals. And so you need internal sources of funding to try to carry out those pilot studies and get the necessary information that will convince the reviewers. Our situation is compounded by the fact that much of our local research funding is actually dependent on endowments, and I don't know whether anybody's checked their RSPs yet recently or any mutual funds you might have an interest in. The interest rates are down, so each year we've seen our pool of local funding decrease. So this will be a very, very welcome addition. So once you've decided on which area you wish to support this year, we will post a request for applications electronically that will cover all three hospitals and any related Queen's researchers that also do research at the hospitals. We'll describe the source of funding, the area that will be appropriate this year, and the terms of reference of the fund. So if there's a requirement that the recipient come back a year from now and tell you what they've done with the research, we can build all of that into the terms of reference and into the RFA. Typically, we advertise local funds sometimes towards mid to late November. The competition deadlines are usually in the middle of January, so people have about 2 months to prepare a grant application. Those interested in vying for the funds will prepare a grant application. That's probably a 5 to 10 page document which has got the meat of the research described in it. We will then identify, based on the topic area, at least 2 expert reviewers who will review each application. There may be different reviewers for each application. So it's a fair amount of work, both on the part of the applicants and on the reviewers. We then ask the reviewers to rank the applications, and we have a numerical scoring system that's typically used with external funding agencies. And we will simply make a recommendation based on the application that received the highest score. So in a nutshell, that's the process as it would normally roll out. I think you still have some final decisions to make about exactly how this is orchestrated. But realistically, it will probably be, if we follow that process, beginning of March to mid-March, by the time there will be a final decision. So
Well, it's been a great lunch and very interesting speakers that we heard about today. If you are able to make a decision on which area you'd like to support this year, there is a box right by the door. It's a striped box, and you can leave your ballot there. Or you could take it with you, and we just need it returned by November the 15th. And as Kathy mentioned, the presentations today will be online if you'd like to view them later. We will let you know by the end of this month, by the end of November, which area was selected. And once the winning projects have been, decided upon, we'll let you know, as Roger mentioned, in the new year. One of the conditions of the funding will be for the successful applicant to come back to the Women's Giving Circle and to share with us how the project we're sponsoring is contributing to the overall project and also to the quality of health in the Kingston area. I'm sure that many of you now share my desire to go out and help us attract more members, as Shirley challenged us at the beginning of today by getting our membership up to 100, and hopefully today has demonstrated the value of the Women's Giving Circle and what we can do together as a community. In closing, I'd just like to thank everyone again for coming out today and for showing your support. And I very much look forward to seeing everyone at our next event in the new year. So thanks to everyone again, and best wishes for a safe journey home.